Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Gaming Lounge Podcast, episode 97. Once again, I'm your host, Sebastian, and as always, I'm joined by Dory. How you doing, Dory?
Seb and I were going to discuss two things today. The Steam controller and mouse PI. Did they both have the cheese? Maybe the Steam machine was closer than a shark on a Florida beach or a Dunkin' in New England. And why did I get the sneaky suspicion that I was talking to myself? All these answers and more on this episode of the Gaming Lounge. I work very hard. I should get paid. Why does no one pay me for these things? Hello, everyone. Of course, I couldn't resist doing a noir introduction, which I mentioned I was going to do last week. But yeah, I'm very excited. We're going to be talking, like I just said, about some Steam news, not just the Steam controller, but also rumors about the Steam machine. I neglected also to mention that we're going to talk about May games because it's going to be May, and it is May in this case. And yeah, we're going to talk about our day one, our maybes, and stuff that we're unsure on. And of course, the main attraction here is Mouse PI for Hire, which I loved and Seb liked. And so we're going to talk about our different feelings on that and whether it's worth your time. So yeah, that'll cover that.
So, in news that happened this week, we got the reveal of the Steam controller. It's finally coming out. It's coming out May 4th. That's when we can buy it. And it's going to be $99. It's going to be sold directly from Valve themselves. So, it's not going to be at other retailers or anything like that, just like the Steam Deck. And the reception to this controller has been extremely positive, and people are saying it's a game changer. And I watched multiple videos of many tech enthusiasts that I watch consistently, and they all are praising the hell out of it, and it's been overwhelmingly awesome, and I'm very excited to get my own controller as well. It could be my main controller, and I love that I'll be able to use it on every PC platform that I own, which is a lot. So it's very exciting. So before we get into all the layouts and what it does and all that, Dory, what was your first thought when you saw the $99 price tag?
I thought it's a little too pricey for me personally.
Yeah,
I have an 8-bit do that I bought for like $50 at Best Buy. It works really well for me, wired or wirelessly. So to spend double that on a controller is just not something I personally would do. Now, if I had a $50 Steam gift card, for example, for my birthday or for Christmas or something, yeah, I'd probably buy this in a heartbeat. This looks really good, really quality. I don't necessarily deny, as we're going to talk about, that all the features justify the cost in modern day economic terms. But for me personally, I just can't justify that. I'm very happy with my 8-bit do. I have a backup Xbox controller, and I have my PS5 controller. I just don't really need it personally. But yeah, I think down the line for sure I'll be buying it. I just need like a Steam gift card or a sale or something. Honestly, if it was like PS5 controller level, like $75, $70, I'd consider it a lot more heavily. But that like $25 difference for me,
yeah,
despite what some people are saying online, is a big deal.
yeah. My first thought was, wow, that's expensive. But as watched videos and did the research and saw the features that it did, and I think $100 is a fair price for it. It's made to last a long time. This could be someone's end game controller that can last like 10 years. I think that's the appeal, right? Because Steam's not going anywhere, and it's a safe bet for the next 10 years. You and I are going to be using Steam mainly, unless like something happens, right? Is that a fair assumption? Unless Dory, you're going to be playing on Xbox or PlayStation 6 or something like that. I think Steam's going to be your main platform.
Yeah,
So this
I would say
controller
so.
this controller is like an end game, really, if it's as good as everybody's saying, and it looks like it is. I mean, it's the same layout as every other controller, but it has two touchpads, and that's like huge, right? It has gyro that works properly and it works with every game right out the box. It has the four back buttons. It has the the way you can use the touchpads, you can use it as a weapon wheel. Like when you're playing a first-person shooter or something, you can move around and pick the weapons just by moving around your thumb. You can use it as a mouse and a keyboard. You can assign any button to act like any other button on the device, and you can register it as keys on a keyboard or clicks on a mouse. There's also a community layout, and you can use people's options that they created themselves, and so anyone can upload their personal control scheme. It has TMR technology, which is said to be precise and reliable and power efficient, and it's said to be completely immune to stick drift. So no more replacing controllers unless you're somebody that rage quits and throws your controller across the room. You're never gonna get stick drift. That's one of the big concerns with PlayStation and Xbox controllers is they're prone to the stick drift, right? It's a big problem with them. Um, this way that people have described it looks big, but people saying it feels lightweight, even though it looks big, and I've seen people say that the way you hold it feels comfortable. Like you would think it's a big controller, like the Duke and the Xbox, but it doesn't feel like that at all. People's hands looked comfortable when they were using it. I was looking at people's thumbs and the way they were holding it, and it looks fine. So that's exciting as well. It says the tops of the sticks are touch capacitive, as are the grips. You can assign these touch sensors to enable tilt functionality, which some players like to use to assist their aiming and first-person shooter games. It also comes with a magnetic puck that plugs into a USB-C port on your computer. And the reason why they're releasing it now is that obviously it's a controller and it does not require RAM. So they just wanted to get it out of there. They had a bunch of stock of it shipped to them and it was ready to go. And they were like, you know what, let's just sell it now. And hopefully this leads to the Steam machine and the Steam frame being right around the corner. But we'll see. We'll talk about that next. But overall, I'm very impressed with this controller. Do I need it? Absolutely not. I have so many controllers. I have 8-bit Dough. I have Xbox Elite controller. I have Xbox regular controllers. I have PlayStation 5 controllers. I have a lot of controllers. But the reason why this interests me a lot is it's nice to have a controller that just like connects to Steam right through every device easily. And I'm probably assuming I get the Steam machine, which I'm still not sure yet because I don't know what the price is going to be. I'm excited for this controller just because I can, if I want to play on my PC, I can use I can use the controller with that, and then I can sync it with the Steam frame without any like bunch of going into a bunch of settings and setting up the Bluetooth and all that because it's a pain in the butt. When I was like docking my Steam Deck, I had to like connect the Bluetooth and hold the button down on the controller, the Xbox controller, to sync it up, and it was just not a major thing. It didn't take me like 20 minutes, but it was just enough to be an inconvenience. So this controller is just going to be a big deal for me that's part of the Steam ecosystem, and it's easy to access and things like that. So I'm very excited for it. I think $100 is a fair price for all the features that we're getting. My first thought was that it was too expensive, and it probably is a little too expensive. It probably could have been like $80, $90, but if it's a controller that's going to last me like 5, 10 years, $100 is not going to really bother me. So that's my mindset. But I do get that it's too expensive for some people. But I'm a different audience than I'm not a casual. I'm a tech enthusiast, so I'm more in the hardcore space, not the super hardcore space. I wouldn't spend $200 on this or anything like that, but I think $100 is fair. Because a lot of controllers are in the $70 to $80 range nowadays, and the pro controllers are like $150 to $200. And this is not as good as a pro controller, I guess, but it's right below it. So it feels like a fair price in today's market. Not a fair price 10 years ago, but nowadays it makes sense to me. So that's my mindset. So
Yeah, I think
yeah,
one thing I got out of the reviews that I looked at, mostly from IGN, I think I might have looked at one or two others, but the IGN was the main one I looked at,
yeah,
is that yeah, this definitely has a lot of those customizability features that pro controllers often have, or little extra things that pro controllers have. And the one thing that I believe the IGN review pointed out was that when they did the Xbox Elite controller or something like that, when it originally came out, it was like $200 or
yep,
something like that, right? And
yep.
this is like half the price. And arguably, I mean, I'm sure some people would say it's better. I don't know, one way or the other, because Elite controllers aren't really my thing. But yeah, I mean, I think having those, having those little back buttons, I only have two myself on my on my 8-bit do. But and being able to dock it so effortlessly and pair it so effortlessly, being able to have those TMR kind of analog sticks like we've been talking about, the no drift.
Yeah.
Plus, the Steam button, of course, is a big thing. Seb might have already said this, but very contextual based on what you're doing. So one turns the controller on, another brings you up to Steam if it's not already up, and then the third one brings you into full picture mode. So you're basically playing like a console. It's very cool. I like I said, when I get a Steam gift card for my birthday, which I almost certainly am, I'm probably buying this because it looks really high quality. And although I love my 8-bit do, and I think it's a great controller,
Yeah,
I would not say no to having
yeah,
a backup to it that is, or even a primary one, because I
yeah,
do somewhere down the line want a Steam machine. I don't know how long I'll wait, but I do want it still because
yeah.
I the idea really appeals to me, but the price point, does not. But anyway, speaking of the Steam machine,
Yeah, so potentially you'll be able to get a bundle with the Steam machine and the controller. So maybe it's gonna be a fair price, and you can get the
yeah,
controller with it, and then maybe you'll get it that way.
that's what I'm thinking too.
But I guess my mindset too is maybe they release the controller before everything else, also because they're trying to make it cheaper for other people. Like, okay, so you have the controller now. You don't have to buy the bundle with the controller, and it'll be cheaper for you down the road. So maybe that's their mindset too. They're playing the
Sure.
market. Like, oh, maybe you'll buy it because you don't need to buy the controller with it, and it's cheaper if you don't have the controller. That kind of thing. So I
Yeah.
can see that too. Speaking of the Steam machine, basically, long story short, they got Valve had a bunch of interviews with different corporations. I watched the interview with IGN. I watched the interview with PC Gamer, and they basically said what we already knew, that they haven't revealed the price or when it's coming out, mainly because we're in the RAM apocalypse and it's very expensive. They're still thinking about what the price is going to be, and they don't know if they're going to sell it at a loss. Like, there's so much questions that need to be answered, right? So I get that. Now, there is an insider that has said that Valve is receiving a large shipment of game consoles. It's labeled as game consoles at its U.S. warehouses. I've seen YouTubers, which I think is a big thing. I've seen people like basically, they thumbnails. They're just doing fake thumbnails saying like, "Oh, it's imminent. The Steam machine's coming out is imminent." The controller means that, yeah, it's right around the corner. I don't really buy that, but apparently there's a huge shipment of game consoles coming to that have come to the U.S. warehouses for Valve, but that doesn't mean it's a Steam machine. It could just be Steam Decks. Obviously, Steam Decks have been sold out, and they haven't been able to. People have not been able to buy any new ones. So maybe that's what it means. So we'll see. But yeah, so what do you think about the Steam machine?
I think,
Go ahead.
yeah, I think this is going to be a summer release. I don't think it's around the corner, and if it is a summer release, I'm not necessarily saying like late June, like beginning of summer, but I do feel like the Steam machine is pretty much ready to go. Valve more or less said so in an IGN review that yeah, it's all the core fundamentals are there. Like they're set. They're waiting, I guess, on market conditions to be better. I think eventually Valve just says fuck it and just releases it at the price that they have right now. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily a good idea or that it's definite that they will, but just that I think eventually they just have to say fuck it and just do it, and then just cut prices once market conditions allow for that. I mean, we've seen some, like, and I mean some, like not all, a little bit of pushback on the Rampocalypse because some of these AI places are now, going out of business or they're shifting around, right? Disney broke their deal. A lot of companies are getting pushback on their AI use, yada, yada. So there's a little bit of wiggle room on RAM compared to where we were, but still compared to where we were before that, still not great, right?
Yeah,
Not saying it's great.
I
So
yeah.
I think I think Valve's waiting for the situation to be normalized or at least better than it is now. I'm just not sure they're getting there anytime soon.
Yeah, I can see it from different perspectives. I could see them selling it at a loss and releasing it at a cheaper price that they wanted originally before the RAM apocalypse. I could see it. In that case, I would see it as like maybe $500 to $600. On the other hand, I can see them, as you just said, just get it out there with the current market, and it's going to be like $800 to $1,000,
Yeah.
or it's going to be way higher than that, and I don't know. They're
Yeah.
gonna have that question like, should we release it now? Like you said, just get it out of the way, and if people that are gonna buy it are gonna buy it, and if they're not gonna buy it, they're not gonna buy it. And it is what it is, and then we'll lower the
Yeah.
price later on, or they're gonna be like, you know what? Let's just do like a PlayStation Xbox thing, sell it at a loss. We'll make up the money through game sales.
Yeah.
So
Honestly,
that's
it's an easy cheat code because if they just came out with any game that ended with the number 3 in their in their videography,
yeah,
they'd be set for making their money back,
yeah.
but they for
It's
some
such
reason just don't do that anymore.
it's so disappointing because if this came out before the market crashed or not crashed, but like went to hell,
Yeah,
or if nothing happened at all, and the market was fine. This could have really been a game changer in the console space. Not like not
it's
like
really a shame.
yeah, not that it would like kick Sony like out and destroy all the no,
No,
it wouldn't be
no.
like that kind of game changer, but like it would have really made Sony and Microsoft sweat, and like we could have had better competition, and it could have sold a lot better. Because if this thing is like $900, $1,000, it's DOA. I don't. No one's gonna. I'm not gonna say no one. Most people are not gonna buy that for $900, $1,000. The specs are only as strong as a base PS5, and yeah, you have the advantage of Steam. All your games are on Steam, but the majority of people are not gonna spend $1,000 on a weaker hardware. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah,
So I'm not a business person, so I don't know what their numbers are. I just feel like I would think about selling it at a loss, and you make up your money through the games because your games make you so much money, right? But what does that mean? But like the one thing we can answer though is how we feel about it. As the months have gone on, I have been more interested in the Steam machine than I was originally. I like the idea of having a PC under my TV. I've tried everything through like hooking up my PC to the TV and hook up my laptop to the TV, using a dock for my Steam Deck, things like that. It just doesn't feel right. It still doesn't feel like a console experience. It just, for whatever reason, it just doesn't fit the screen properly. It doesn't look right. Games don't play properly. I've had a lot of problems, so I would love to have something under my TV. So it interests me more. But my maximum for me is probably like $800. Like I might be willing to pay $800 on it, depending on like what it's bundled with, or is it come with a controller? Like there's a lot of questions, like what's the size gonna be? Can I upgrade the space, the storage down the road? That's what I need to be answered for me. But I would pay like $800 for it, maybe $900, like maybe. But
yeah.
for the most people, that's way too much.
I mean, I'm known to be miserly. When they were saying it was going to be as low as 4.99 or 5, not they, but it seems themselves, but people before the Rampocalypse were saying, oh, like Seb was saying, could be as low as 500, could be as high as 600, maybe 700.
Yeah,
I was like day one. Like
yeah,
if I have the
that's
money,
a great
if I have the
price.
money and it makes financial sense for me and it's not going to put me in a bad place, day one.
Yeah,
But as time has gone on, ironically, I think Seb and I are kind of like Seb started here and I started here, and I think now we're kind of like passing each other like ships in the night. But like,
yeah,
I'm more iffy on it because like I do love the idea. I think I would play it, and I want, like Seb said, I've had some issues with playing games, and I would love to have some of those. I don't need a powerhouse like people. I totally understand Seb's point. If it's $1,000 or not even 900, maybe even 800. I kind of, for me personally, DOA, because like that being less powerful thing matters to me. But if it was like $600, $700, maybe
it
700,
might be
I'd be like,
still.
okay, that doesn't matter a lot to me because I'm not in this for like
Yeah,
the ultra premium hardware, right? I don't buy
yeah,
PS5 Pros. I didn't buy PS4 Pro. I
yeah,
don't personally care about that.
yeah,
I get that people do, and that's great. And I think that's fine.
yeah,
But for me personally, I'm not buying the Steam machine necessarily because it's a powerhouse. I'm buying it because
yeah,
it's supposed to be stable and consistent, easy to set up.
yeah,
It looks very cool. I love a good GameCube.
yeah.
So yeah, go ahead, Seb.
I mean, in I look ridiculous wanting it because I have a 4080 PC and I have a 4060 gaming laptop. I have a MSI Claw 8 plus, which is a strong PC handheld. I have a Steam Deck OLED. I have a Rogue Ally. I have all
That's
the
way too
PC.
much, dude.
Yes. Um, but I use like almost all of that in different ways. Like I play all my AAA games on my desktop. like what I'm sitting in front of right now is how I play
Right.
most of my AAA, like Wukong or something, right? I would never play Wukong on
Right.
a Steam Deck. I'm not gonna do that. My gaming laptop is like the mid tier games. Like I want to play like Ghost of Tsushima or God of War or something. But I don't feel like being at my desk. I'll play on my gaming laptop and I can travel with it and stuff like that, right? And then my Steam Deck and my handhelds are more for like indie games or AA games or older games, and so they all complement each other. So it sounds ridiculous, and yeah, I have more. Like I'm buying these things. I saved up my money. It's not like I'm rich and I'm just buying them left and right. They all work
Right.
with each other. The PC ecosystem. That's what I love about the ecosystem. I can mix it up. So I'm buying the Steam machine for me is not for AAA super powerful games. For me, it's like if I want to play an indie game, like I want to play like mixtape, and I just want to play it under my TV, right? That's the kind of game I would play the Steam machine for. So that's what I mean. It complements each other. Sometimes I feel like just playing under my TV, right? And that's really where I'm at. Like sometimes I don't want to sit at a desk. I sit at a desk at work. Sometimes I don't want to be at a desk. Sometimes I don't want to play my gaming laptop. I just want to like lay down in bed with a controller and play on my big TV, and then play a game. So it makes sense for me. It's just the price. I can't justify if it's like $1,000. I just can't. That would be that. Even $900, I'd have to like. I'd FOMO would really kill me, but I would probably hold myself back from paying $900. Even 800, I would still be hesitant. I'd probably figure out how I would probably get it and figure out how, but $800 would be pushing it. I think $700. I'm probably day one. I think overall. My concern though is not even the Steam machine by itself. It's the Steam frame and the machine, because I really interested in the Steam frame, the VR headset, because I have a MetaQuest 3 and it's great, but I'm ready to get away from Meta. I'm ready to get away from Facebook and Zuckerberg. I really want to get away from them.
Yeah, I deleted my Facebook account. I still have Messenger because I want to keep in touch with some of my
Yeah,
friends and mostly with Kim.
yeah,
But yeah, I'm with you on that.
yeah. So like, don't get me wrong. It's not like MetaQuest sucks, but I don't like the software. It has problems, and I don't like those exclusives. But I'll still buy the exclusives. Like there's this Deadpool and Batman and things like that. But my point is though, it's not just the Steam machine; it's the Steam frame and the machine. If I get both, God knows how much that's gonna be. Like
Yeah,
that's my concern. Am I gonna have to shout like $2,000 for these two devices? And
it's just too much, dude.
I don't know. But like
Yeah.
I love the concept of like playing Steam on this headset, like a normal game on a giant
Yeah.
screen. On a giant screen.
I'd love to get back to my TV. Like my PS5's collecting dust. I haven't played it since Yotai, and Yotai was October of last year, and
Yeah.
we're almost halfway through this year. I mean, I am not playing my PS5 unless it's for exclusives. I simply don't need it. I can play AAA games on my PC, on my gaming laptop.
Yeah.
I can play indies and AA on my Steam Deck whenever I use that. But I want something that like I can play on my TV too.
Exactly.
And it's just my PS5 just doesn't do it for me right now. Plus, besides all that, all the stupid shit Sony's doing with their games and with their
DRM.
with their consoles and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's in a frustrating place right now for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, if it's 500, 600, I'm there day one. If
Yeah.
it's any more than that, I have to think about it.
Yeah.
I just paid off my Steam Deck, so I wouldn't be against doing that again if it's like really expensive and I
Yeah.
can do the monthly thing. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, we've thoroughly talked about this at this point.
Yeah. Well, just one last thought before we move on.
Sure.
The frustration for me is not like, oh, I have to have this. Like I can't live if I don't have these devices. For me, it's more of like I just need a price tag so I can save up and know what I'm planning for. Like I don't like the uncertainty of like, am I gonna have to shell out like $2,000 for this something that could be really awesome for me?
Yeah.
And like I don't like I'm saving up now just in case. I'm preparing for that $2,000 price tag. It might not even be that. I'm just saying, like, I would really just like a ballpark at least. Can I just get a ballpark?
Yeah, I
That'd be
agree with you.
nice.
It's the anxiety of not knowing what exactly it is or even an
Yeah.
idea. Because that's what got people so excited in the first place is because when Valve was like, yeah, we want this to be something like if you had used all of these parts, and they even named some of the parts, or we knew what some of the parts were via IGN and PC Gamer or whatever other places like that had gotten their hands on it and already talked about it. They were like, we want this to be similar to a computer that would be made of these same exact parts. And people are like, well, that comes out to like $500, $600. That's
It
nuts. Are
does,
they
yeah.
doing that?
Right.
And yeah, so that's where my excitement came from. I'm still excited. I still want this. I love Valve. They are probably, it's between them and Sony in terms of the companies I really like in terms of they're
Yeah.
making video games or making consoles. And it's probably Valve at this point because I use Steam so much, and Sony's been shooting itself in the foot with a rocket launcher for the past year, over and over again. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I really want it to be a good price point because I'd love to buy this.
Do you have a prediction for Steam Machine? Like, how much do you think? Like right now,
right now, my gut is saying somewhere between $700 and $800. That's where my gut. Originally, I was very hard nosed on 500 to 600, but the times have changed, and I've accepted that that's not probably what's going to happen unless Valve waits. If they wait till maybe next year, maybe. But even then, I don't know. I think I think they're nuts if they do anything even approaching $1,000. Like you said, I think it's DOA if they do that.
Agreed. I think it's gonna be between $700 and $800.
Yeah,
like $650.
I'd love it to be less, but I just don't think so.
$650 would be like if they took a loss or something. Like they just not a huge loss, but just a little bit, just to help people out and sell more. Maybe $650, maybe $600. That'd be like the lowest I could see it. But I think it's gonna be like $700 to $900. I'm
$600. I'm day one. As long as it makes sense for me, I'm day one.
$700 even you might even still consider it like
yeah I might consider it because you can do those I did PayPal credit stuff for Steam Deck and I paid it off and I was always on time with my payments, so
exactly.
That's not a concern for me.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's gonna be about. I think it's gonna be around $700 to $800. I think that the Steam frame is gonna be like at the 900 to 1,000. So I think.
Oh my god.
I think both, which is like. It's gonna be more money than MetaQuest, so I think it's gonna be like $1,800 to $2,000 for both of them, plus the controller, which can be $100. So, it's like $2,000 for all three, is what I'm picturing in my head.
Yeah,
and that sounds right to me, but we'll see. All right, let's move on to the May games. So May is looking to be a fun month of games. April was good, but May is like really good. And we have quite a few day one games, some maybes, and some games we're not sure on. Let's start with the unsure games, and then we'll work our way up. You have Lego Batman as your unsure. Although, before you even get into that, you don't even have to buy it because I'm going to buy it. So.
Yeah, I know. So, I know. I always forget about that. But as soon as you're about to say that, yeah, I know that, and I based on the reviews and based on what you say, I might pick it up anyway, or not pick it up, but like try it when you're done.
Yeah.
I just haven't played Lego anything in a very long time, since Star Wars, since I was a kid. So I'm just unsure if I want to do it, but the promise of Arkham Combat always brings me in. I mean, that's part of why I wanted to play Replaced, right? And I got a little bit of that, but I want a little better.
Yeah.
And actually having Batman too. Plus, I love Batman. He's one of my favorite superheroes. I mean, I have all sorts of criticisms about the way that Batman is as a character, but that's what makes him fun.
Yeah.
I love Batman. I love, I loved the Lego games as a child. So maybe this can reel me back in. Yeah. And this is definitely supposed to be best of all Batmans. It's supposed to have all the Batmans from all the time periods. Yeah. So yeah, let's go.
And it's the closest we're gonna get to another Arkham game. Rocksteady is just. I don't know what's going on with them. Like, they're clueless with their consumers, basically.
They are terrible.
Although I can't even blame Rocksteady. It's really Warner Brothers executives making these decisions.
Yeah, Warner Brothers games have been really bad. And now the Wonder Woman game isn't happening. And well, that was a while ago. But and we still don't know. I guess that's Marvel, right? They're not doing that. But
the CEO doesn't really care about games, really, too.
No.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate. You also have Thick as Thieves as your unsure.
Yeah, they've also recently announced. I was looking at the Thick as Thieves store page recently on Steam, and apparently they've kind of revamped it a little bit, just a little bit, and they're just focusing on single player and co-op. That might have already been known, but I did like that announcement, and because originally they were going to they were going to do PvPvE, and I was like, eh. And then they're focusing on 2-player co-op and single player, and that was April 2nd that we knew about that, so about a month ago. So maybe we already talked about that, but I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's from Warren Spector, the guy behind Deus Ex and Thief. I love Deus Ex, so that's my main point of reference here. But you know, I wouldn't play co-op. Obviously, I'd play it single player unless Seb really wanted to. But
Yeah.
I love a good heist. I don't know that I'd actually play this though. I'm very mixed on stealth games. I mean, I love Splinter Cell, love Hitman. There's other stealth games besides that I enjoy.
Yeah.
So you know, so yeah, it's it's promising, but I'm looking carefully at reviews before. And Dishonored too, another stealth game I think is
Yeah.
great. So
It doesn't appeal to me because I don't like the heist games and I don't like stealth games generally. So
yeah,
not for me.
fair.
Yeah. You also have Bubsy 4D.
Okay, this one I kind of put in for the memes because I just kind of wanted to talk about Bubsy 4D. Does anyone remember Bubsy? No, of course you don't. Shut up. You don't remember Bubsy. Or if you do remember Bubsy, boy, I feel bad for you. But yeah, Bubsy is this cat. He was kind of like Gex. Like he was kind of
Yeah.
there to make fun of all these mascot
Yeah.
characters back in the 90s and 2000s. He never really became popular. His games really sucked. But the people who did Demon Abyss or Demon Tides, I think they are the ones behind Bubsy 4D. It
Yeah.
looks genuinely funny. They made a GTA 6 joke about how Bubsy 4D is coming out before GTA 6, and I did laugh.
Yeah.
And in the art direction is beautiful. I think it feels very vibrant.
Yeah.
And from all previews that I've seen, it seems like a genuinely good game. So look, am I really into platformers? No. But I kind of love the idea of this game.
Yeah.
And if this game does well, I'm going to be very happy.
It's more of a me game. Like, I love platformers. I didn't put it on my list just because I haven't really thought about it, but I might. It's on my wish list, so I'll probably pick it up like later on, like when it's on sale, that kind of thing. But I think the last Bubsy game was solid, and that's the reason why people are more interested in it. But I could be wrong. I think that wasn't the last one decent or something.
I think it was better. The Woolies Strike Back, that has mixed. That was 2017.
Okay, maybe I'm misremembering. But either way, this one looks like it's
Yeah.
pretty solid. I've seen people being positive about it, so we'll see. All right, you also have Uncle Lee's Cookbook, 5 recipes for disaster on your
Yeah,
list.
this is kind of nuts. I put this on my wish list, so I just wanted to put it here. It's
Okay.
a point and click game. I know it sounds like a cooking game or some kind of really nuts thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a female protagonist led a point and click game. It says that it's up to you to pick up the pieces from Uncle Lee. Join rebellious teen Inez as she deals with the fallout of her Uncle Lee's experiments in a modern point and click adventure in 5 self-contained episodes. So I've talked about this many times. I'm not going to go into this too long. I have a very mixed track record with point and click games. Sometimes they baffle me to all hell. Sometimes I really enjoy them.
Yeah.
So this is why it's something I'm unsure about, but I like the art direction. I love the idea. I saw it at one of the showcases. I was like, you know what? Put this on my wish list. See what people think.
Yeah, this is definitely a game that I would rely on you to get, and then I would try it myself later on.
Yeah.
All right, the last game on the list is the remake of the end of the greatest RPG of all time.
I don't know if you even remember this one. Again,
do.
on my wish list, because I added it a long time ago. This is
How can you forget a title like that?
I know. So this is a deduction puzzle game set in the last hour of a lost, non-existent 90s JRPG, complete with the original manual, director's comedy, and commentary, and clips of an unreleased amateur documentary, all used to uncover the secret at the heart of it all. What is the greatest RPG of all time? So yeah, this is just fucking madness. I have no idea what this game is going to end up being like, but I just kind of want to see it just to believe it. It looks absolutely bonkers, and I love it. And it just gives me kind of Pony Island vibes, and I love Pony Island. So yeah, it looks really cool. It says it's 4 to 6 hours deduction puzzle game, and let's see what else is there. Collect the materials, deduce how the game functions, and uncover the deeper secrets that lie within. To defeat fearsome foes with specific weaknesses. Experience an original score that harkens back to the RPG glory days. And yeah, I mean, it's obviously not very serious, but yeah, It's coming out May 28th. I'm not sure I'm gonna get it, but I want to know how it does.
Yep. So the entire unsure category is all Dory. Um, so yeah, like personally for me, Lego Batman is the only one that I'll probably get on that list. And then Dory, you'll probably get at least three of those, maybe down the road, or maybe not at all.
Yeah,
I don't have any interest generally in buying these ones. So, but
that's fine.
the maybes though is when we really start clicking. And the first one is Soul Quest, which you have on your list, Dory. So tell us about it,
Yeah,
please.
Soul Quest is coming out really soon, actually. So it's on sale right now for 15.99. Actually, it just went on sale yesterday. It's only got 34 reviews, but I mean it's an indie, and 88% of them are positive, so that's good. It is a hack and slash. It calls itself a spectacle fighter. Carve your path through hordes of enemies, defying the gods to seize the power of Morrigan, goddess of death, and retrieve the soul of your beloved. Soul Quest combines amazing gameplay with unique Celtic mythology into one action-packed mixture. I just think it looks really
It looks
cool. It
cool,
looks
yeah.
really awesome. It reminds me of those Flash games
Yeah,
from the 2000s that you would play, and you would get really into and would have like surprisingly like deep and complex combat, or at
yeah.
least really flashy combat that's fun to look at. But yeah, it's on sale right now for 15.99, which is not a bad price. The sprite work and character work looks really good.
Yeah.
I'm always up for defying the gods. So yeah, and there's people playing it right now on the developers actually. So they're actually broadcasting that right now. It's not live, I don't
Yeah.
think. It could be, but
It
yeah.
looks like a good handheld game. It looks like a great Steam Deck game.
Yeah,
And
I agree. So, but at the same time, as much as I think this is cool, I don't know how difficult it's supposed to be, and I don't know how much, I really want to spend $16 on a title I'm unsure about. But it
yeah.
does look cool, and the animation looks great. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, my only problem with these kind of games is they tend to be really hard. And it gets kind of frustrating and it's like I don't like playing this anymore. Or it's like too much backtracking and it turns like a Metroidvania. Like it'd be fun if it's just like a fun hack and slash game and it's not like over. You know what I'm talking about, Dory? Like it turns into Nine Souls or Hollow Knight, those are amazing games.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong, but sometimes I don't feel like playing like a really difficult game like this, and they always make these games really hard, like annoyingly
Yeah,
so.
I don't know. So there are some positive reviews, but also the top two, the top one, after playing it for 2 hours, is that there's a lot of spongy enemies, some prolonged fights, and eventually like they put bigger enemies in smaller areas time after time, um,
Y-
uh, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
yeah.
Even that.
There's also
Go ahead.
platforming and environmental puzzles, plus long level design with oh boy, with hardly any checkpoints. Okay, that's going to be a no for me. But anyway, yeah, I still think the game looks cool. I think if it went on sale, or it can always get some patches and fixes too. I mean, just add some checkpoints in, right?
Yeah,
You already have checkpoints, put more then. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it looked cool,
yeah,
and I was still a maybe. Now I'm leaning more towards a no because that sounds really annoying.
yeah. Even the positive reviews, no, it's only 34 reviews.
Yeah.
Uh, it says it's okay or decent, or no one's saying like, "Oh my god, it's amazing." Like a lot of people are
Yeah.
saying it's difficult, and yeah, probably not for me. But one game that is for me is Alabaster Dawn, which we both have on our list. Now we talked about this game plenty, so we don't have to go full detail about it. It's the
Yeah.
people that made Crosscode. It's a 2.5 action RPG. The only thing that keeps me hesitating from buying this in May is just that it's early access, and I don't like buying games in early access generally.
Mhm.
So, so I probably won't get this game in May, but I will get this game at some point. If not, if you haven't already bought it or something like that, like
Yeah.
it's a game
I
on a
played
wait.
I've talked about this a lot too, so I'll keep this brief. I played the demo. I was in love with it. I think the sprite work and animation is incredible. The combat's really good. The
Yeah.
camera work is strong. The designs are really cool. I thought the writing was solid. Not nothing amazing, but solid. This looks like a really good game, but like Seb said, it's early access, and if you look into what early access means, it means about half the game, maybe a little less, is going to be part of that. And I'd rather wait for the full release. unless we're talking like Hades or Baldur's Gate 3, which I've really had on the mind lately. I'm trying like everything in my power not to go back to Baldur's Gate 3 because
Yeah.
it's gonna suck me into its world. But anyway, unless it's one of those two games, I don't know. Early access is an issue. It's
Hmm.
going to be another issue with another game we're about to talk about too.
Another game that's coming out in early access is Dead as Disco, which comes out May 5th, which is Tuesday. And it's basically Batman Arkham gameplay, but like would sync with music, and
Yeah.
you can play it with any song. You can upload your own
Yep.
music, and that's the whole game. And I've
Yeah.
seen some really awesome gameplay sections. I've seen people do Michael Jackson, and it was so perfect, and it was amazing to watch. And so even if this game isn't incredible for me or anything like that, like I want to have so much fun just watching people play it and do all fun combos and things like that. This game looks like an absolute blast. It's gonna be something like you're bored and just want something to just like screw around with, and like you play on a handheld or something too. It just looks like a blast. But again, it's early access, so it keeps me from being like, oh yeah, day one, because I don't know what that means for this game. But it looks like a blast. I mean, we talked about this game a lot, so I don't. There's nothing more to add. We've talked about
Yeah.
it so many times on this
Yeah.
podcast.
Vibrant colors, really cool soundtrack. Plus, you can do your own, like Seb said. So, but again, early access. So I'm also I don't know. I can be kind of mixed on rhythm games. So it's just a maybe for me. Even if it wasn't early access, I don't know that I'd be day one. I'd be a stronger maybe than I am right now. But anyway, let's talk about the next one.
Yeah, so Darksiders War Mastered Edition is like a remaster that's getting another remaster of a remaster. Um, but I believe it's only going to cost me $3 to get the newer version of it, so I'm not going to lose sleep over $3. I think it's a solid game. It's like God of War clone, basically, original God of War clone, and I'll probably pick it up at some point. If not, you know, for $3, I'll probably just get it just to have it, and then I'll play it whenever I want to play it, kind of thing. I'm not gonna lose sleep over $3. So yeah, it's kind of like it's a remaster of remaster, but I'll probably pick it up. And then the last one for me is Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, which is a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive, and it follows Yoshi as he enters a living encyclopedia where he seeks and interacts with peculiar creatures in the book's pages in order to solve puzzles, complete objectives, and traverse through levels. It's coming out on May 21st, and it succeeds Yoshi's Crafted World, which I really enjoyed, as the ninth main installment of the Yoshi series, and it's the fifth release for a home console. So it's a side-scrolling platforming game set primarily in the living encyclopedia called Mr. E, and Yoshi enters into the pages and so on and so forth. But what really appeals to me is the art style. It has like stop motion animation with a lower frame rate, and it stands out. And Yoshi games are always cute in casual platformers, and I'll enjoy it. The only downside of this game for me is just the price, right? Because Nintendo's games are always going to be like $70, $80 for like what? How long is this game going to be? Like 5 hours? That's the only thing that keeps me from buying it. Like, oh my god, I have to get this day one. If it was like 30, $40, then yeah, I'd be like day one for sure. I'm gonna love this game. I'm really gonna enjoy this game. Is it gonna be like a game of the year contender? No, of course not. But it's gonna be it's gonna be a really good platformer. So my dad usually gets Nintendo games and we share them, so he'll probably get this one, I assume. But yeah, I do like that the digital versions are cheaper now than the physical versions, and because I buy Nintendo games digitally now, so we'll see. But it looks good. All right, now let's get into the day one games. Like, so this is the list that you and I are like, I'm guaranteed, unless the reviews are like huge disappointments or something like that.
Yeah, something big would have to happen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sold. I mean, the first and the biggest game of the whole month is 007 First Light. Um, we've been talking about this game a lot, so we don't have to go crazy about it. But obviously, it looks great. It's from the people that made Hitman, the IO Interactive, and the previews have been very, very positive. Some people are saying this might be the greatest James Bond game ever made, from what I'm seeing. And that's saying a lot because GoldenEye is like top 10 game of all time for me, potential, possibly. This is my first multiplayer game. I have a huge love for GoldenEye as a '90s kid, but everything I'm seeing, it looks fantastic. The gameplay looks like a blast. The levels look awesome. It's my favorite kind of genre. This is my absolute favorite genre: third-person action adventure games, like Uncharted. Like this is my shit right here. Like this is my kind of game. This could be a game of the year contender. This might be their best game they've ever made. It looks the gameplay looks more fluid than Hitman. Hitman does not. Not that I'm saying Hitman has bad gameplay or anything like that, but this game just looks. It looks like they've improved on
I
Hitman's
mean,
gameplay.
it's supposed to be, to be fair, and this is pointed out by Outside Xbox. You're not supposed to be. It's not a Call of Duty, right? It's not. It's not. The gunplay is not very good, and neither is honestly even the melee can feel a little janky. But I think at least with that game, it was by design because they don't want you to feel like you're, super. Well, you don't want to feel like James Bond, right? You're supposed to be hitting people from behind and knocking them out and taking them out covertly.
Yeah,
Obviously, you can go loud, but it's not supposed to be your first option. It's supposed to be like a last resort. Whereas with this one, you have a license to kill, right? I mean, you're still not supposed to go in blasting and stuff. You only have a license to kill in
yeah,
certain contexts. But yeah, it's a lot more open that way.
yeah. I'm just saying. I think they've improved as a studio.
Yes.
Is what I'm saying. Like this looks like a
Yeah, yeah.
quality
No, I
game.
get that.
It might be their best game that they've made so far, potentially. I'm very excited for this. Like I've been day one on this game anyway.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like May is a better release date for it than March. I feel like
Do we
I have
know?
room to breathe.
Do we know? Well, I guess I'm going to answer that for myself in just 1 second. Okay, it's $70. Okay, that's a bummer, but I'll still buy it.
Yeah, I
Are we?
that's
Well,
no.
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that after. But
Yeah, this is something I'd be fine paying $70 for.
yeah,
I don't think every game needs to be 70 hours to justify a $30 price tag. If it's a nice,
yeah,
if
I
it's if
agree.
it's a fun 12-hour game, I'm satisfied.
I'll definitely look at reviews before I buy it. But yeah,
Yeah, definitely. Is this game going to be in the 90s on Metacritic? I doubt it. It's probably going to be in
I
the
doubt
80s.
it.
It's probably 80s.
80s, yeah.
I want to say 83, 82. I don't think it's going to be a high 80s either. But it's fine with me. That's a great score. All right, mixtape. Now
Next
again,
Thursday.
we keep saying like, oh yeah, we've talked about this a million times, so we don't have to go into detail. Same thing here, right? We both very excited about mixtape. This is one of the genres you and I have a lot in common with. We
Yeah,
love teenage angst, '90s vibes, mixed, issue, teenage problems, being in the woods, chill music, fun music, punk rock music, all the
yeah,
vibes. Life is Strange, Lost Records. That like this is our genre. Narrative.
yeah,
It's a Dory game. It's a Seb game.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's and it's Annapurna, and it's the people that made what is that game called?
Oh,
Uh,
I know what you're talking about. The
Artful
Artful Escape.
Artful Escape, which I really love.
Yes, which was
You don't
yeah,
love,
which
you don't love it as much as me, but I really love
but
that
I
game.
still thought it was a great game. I
Yeah.
still thought it was a great game. So I'm there. And plus that fucking studio title. Let's look at it again. It is Beethoven and Dinosaur or Beethoven. I don't know Beethoven and Dinosaur, which is just incredible.
Is it just
So
Beethoven or no?
it might just be Beethoven. I don't
I think
know.
it's
I've never seen
Beethoven.
Beethoven
Isn't
spelled
that,
like that. Is
isn't that,
Beethoven spelled like that? And I've just not noticed.
I'm pretty, yeah, that's how you spell Beethoven.
Oh wow, it is how you spell Beethoven. Okay, anyway, so Beethoven and Dinosaur, which is just an incredible name for your studio.
And you can trust that this game's gonna have amazing visuals because that's Artful Escape had that, and the visuals in this game are amazing. I just love the art style. I
It
mean,
looks really cool.
it's just everything about it I love. So
Yep.
I would have already bought it to be honest with you if I could buy it right now, but they haven't unlocked it yet on Steam. For some
Yeah,
reason, these kind
4
of
days.
games never get pre-orders on Steam. You always have to wait till the day of to get it. But it's not a big deal. I'll get it when it comes
I
out.
think it's coming to Game Pass too.
Yeah. So you're probably gonna get it on Game Pass, right?
I'm probably gonna get it on. Yeah, so I don't make that mistake again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's on Game Pass. So
Yeah, I feel like it got revealed that the Xbox showed it or something like that.
yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Anyway, very excited for it. It comes out May 7th, which is Thursday, so that's awesome. All right, next game is Directive 8020. Again, another game we've talked about a million times. Basically a Dark Pictures game. What else? they took it out. I think they've taken that out of the title because it's had a bad connotation. People have been lukewarm on that franchise, so I've noticed that they don't put that in their title anymore. But it's a cinematic, choice-based narrative game, right? It's like a movie. You make choices. Your choices either lead someone dying or keep them alive. It's quick time events. It's like it takes place on a space station and or a colony, like a ship, and basically the thing, right? The alien turns into your crewmates, and you don't know who to trust, and you know the thing, and Among Us, and things like that. So
Yeah.
it, it's super massive. You know what you're getting into at this point with them. Sometimes their games really hit and they're awesome, and then sometimes their games are mid or whatever. It's like so very mixed track record for me. I still believe that the best game they've made is Until Dawn, and but they made some really good ones too. So you played all the
Yeah,
Dark Pictures games
I would
too.
say House of Ashes is their second best game.
I agree with that. Yeah,
And that was also a great game.
yeah.
But yeah,
The
they just haven't hit the same heights as Until Dawn. They've had
yeah,
very mixed track record.
yeah,
I think they're at worst fun and I swear I'm not memeing, 6 or 7 out of 10 games. God damn it, Seb. I'm quitting the podcast. But yeah, that are fun to play, but not as nearly as deep as they think they are. But
yeah, yeah,
and that's usually at worst case. I think best case, House of Ashes, Until Dawn. Those are both great games. And
yeah.
I love the choice based stuff. I love the. This is a game that makes me wish Seb and I both lived in the same area because we would absolutely have a ball playing this back to with each other. It's such a fun experience. I remember playing Until Dawn with Kim. We got so many of those fucking teenagers killed. So it was fun. It was fun because we missed certain prompts or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool, and I'm excited. Hopefully I can play with it with Kim, but it's not really her game, so it's not her
Yeah.
kind of game.
What I like about them too is they're not super long games, so like
Yeah,
even if it's average or mediocre, like you still have kind of a fun time with it because it doesn't overstay its
exactly.
welcome. It's not like
Yep.
you're not stuck through a 30-hour miserable experience. It's like I don't know, like 6 to 7 hours, right? So, um, Lego Batman we talked about. So Forza Horizon 6. Well, I get why you don't have it on your list because you don't like racing games. I generally don't like
Yeah.
racing games, but Forza is one of the exceptions, and this game is going to be a Game of the Year contender. It won't get nominated because they never nominate racing games. But this game, I guarantee you, this game will be in the 90s. On Metacritic, would be one of the highest rated games of the year, and people are going to love this game. And it's going to be incredible. I'm excited for the Japan setting. I love Japan. It's very beautiful. I probably will get a steering wheel. I've been thinking about getting a steering wheel for this kind of game, but it depends on the money and the pricing and all that stuff. So, but it just because the Steam, I haven't got a controller. I haven't got a steering wheel yet because I'm still waiting on the Steam frame and the Steam machine and how much that's going to cost me and things like that. So, but we'll see. Um, it looks amazing. It's gonna be an incredible game. Like it's gonna be absolutely insanely good. So, I'm very excited for this. All right, and that's on Game Pass too. So, Dory, if you did want to try it, it's on Game Pass. So, all right,
Very nice.
it's an Xbox game after all. All right, that's everything. So, really, the big thing for us in May is mixtape 007 and Directive 8020, and then for me, Lego Batman and Forza. So there's 5 games that I'm getting day one. So that's exciting. All right. So let's get into the final topic of the night in our spotlight, which is Mouse PI for Hire, which is a first-person shooter with a heavily noir influence aesthetic that takes you to the mean streets of Mouseburg on a case that could open the entire city wide. There's light platforming, there's side quests, baseball game, and plus a lot of shooting. You play as Jack Pepper, a longtime detective and ex-cop who's investigating 3 separate cases that will eventually overlap in a very explosive way. So first we're gonna get into the pros, and then we'll get into the cons, of course. Dory, you start with the pros. Since we have comments next to each other, You make your point, and I'll make my point, and we'll add on to each
Sure.
other. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, first off, my bias is totally on the table. If y'all don't know, I love noir. I love detective stuff. I love first-person shooters. Really have rediscovered my love for first-person shooters in the last couple of years, especially. So put all that together, especially with that rubber hose classic 1930s animation, plus the full jazz
Yeah.
big band soundtrack. It's a recipe for success. So
Yeah.
Seb and I are gonna have some differences on this. I'm higher on it than he is. I think that's part of why. But anyway. Incredible animation work. First off, top to bottom, the rubber hose animation is chef's kiss. It is beautiful. The guns reloading, the firing, the jumping, the characters, the sprite work. The only thing I sort of noticed is that sometimes the mouth flapping when people were talking, or by people I mean
Yeah.
mice, wasn't always synced up, but that didn't really matter. Like the
No.
animation work is so incredible, top to
Yes.
bottom.
Yeah. The presentation of this game is where this game shines like really brightly. The animation is absolutely incredible. I like the idea of making it black and white. The 3D environments themselves are very simple and very bare bones, but because it has a great artwork around it and it's covered in black and white, it hides the simpleness of the settings. So that was a really good idea on their part. If this game was in color, it would look a lot worse. But
Mm.
but the visuals themselves, the artwork, the drawings, the animation are incredible. It feels like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Like it feels like a living, breathing cartoon world, and they did an incredible job with that. It's another Cuphead. It's insanely good. The presentation of this game is phenomenal. I love the noir look. I'm not as big into noir as Dory, but I still really enjoy noir when it's done correctly, and I think they did a great job with just the atmosphere of noir. The music fits perfectly. It feels like 1930s, 1920s, Hollywood. It feels like the movie sets, the level designs, the character designs. It feels like something that would come straight out of like 1930s animation, and it's insanely good. The presentation in this game is just amazing. So, anything you wanted to say about that?
Yeah, I just want to say, that they really nailed the aesthetic.
Yeah,
Like you said, the classic noir art design. It looks beautiful. It holds up really well. I want to say also performance wise, I had pretty much no issues, no bugs. I had no crashes, nothing else. I think I ran into maybe a glitch once or something like that. But
yeah,
other than that, it ran great. I had some minor environmental flickers, but they were
yeah.
barely anything, and they almost never happened. So yeah, just really good.
Yeah, I never had any issues with like the gameplay or anything like that. There was like one or two times where I was like buying a card from the merchant, and then the game like froze, and I couldn't exit out of it. Like it didn't load the card. Like you buy a card, it shows
Yeah,
you, it
yeah, yeah.
pops out. It wasn't loading properly, and I had to like close the whole game out and everything like that. And I had to crash like maybe one time, but it wasn't like anything I would complain about. So for the most part, I didn't really have any issues. I honestly, I had no
Oh, I
bugs.
also want to say I felt like the checkpoints were generally fair. I mean, I don't remember any checkpoints really
Oh yeah,
upsetting
yeah,
me or anything like that.
yeah. This
I
game,
think
yeah,
maybe once or twice there was like I should have a checkpoint between phases, but other than that, yeah,
yeah.
I
It
don't, I
was
didn't have anything big.
yeah. The save in this game are good because there's typewriters everywhere to save. Also, the auto save is good. Pretty much you get auto save at every section you go into. So
Yep.
every combat has an auto
After
save.
after every single battle, you get an autosave, which is great. So,
Yes, and there's typewriters everywhere, so you can save multiple times. You can go back. So
yep,
the saves in this game are really good.
yep.
Um, I love the mix of settings, and when I initially started the game, I was like, okay, is this game nothing but hallways and buildings and abandoned buildings and sewers but no, as the game progresses, you get into really cool settings. I won't go into full detail. I don't want to spoil it, but you go on a really cool movie set, where, like that's like a Wild West. You get a haunted mansions level, factories and towns and laboratories and submarines, like, and it has all different aesthetics and music and characters, and the settings of this game are so much fun. That was also one of the big appeals to me, is it just mixed it up. The gameplay I have problems with in terms of like the repetitiveness of it, but the settings and the were all different from each other. So I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that.
The gunplay, which we'll talk about a little more later when Seb talks about his cons, I felt like was satisfying. I felt like when I used the shotgun, it had a good amount of recoil. Rocket launcher felt really impactful. The Tommy gun looked and felt cool to use. To me, generally speaking, aiming always felt intuitive and responsive and fun to pull off when you
Yeah,
killed an enemy.
yeah. The I have problems with the gameplay in terms of like the repetitiveness of it, but like the gameplay itself is good and or at least decent, and anyone can play it. It's very casual, so and it feels fine. It feels good. If I've been playing it with mouse and keyboard. Have you been playing it with mouse and keyboard or a controller?
Mouse and keyboard. Sorry. Um, yeah. I want to say that I also want to add that the characters, everybody's a classic noir trope. There's the femme fatale. There's Jack Pepper. There's the kind of slimy-ish politician. There's the three friends who grew up and partied and went different ways. There's the hucksters. The corrupt policeman, the mob, but it's fun. It works. It's a lot of great and, dare I say, cheesy writing, but I felt like it all really worked. I also, on the topic of cheesy, I gotta shout out this game for the amount of cheese puns. There are so many cheese puns in this game. It is unbelievable. I mean, it is
Yeah,
believable because it's a game called Mouse PI, but it's very good, and I always loved them, and it never
yeah.
felt forced. It was good.
I can see that being a con for some people. I have seen people complain about too many puns and jokes, but like that's puns are more up your alley for sure. So that would click you
Sure.
more.
Yeah, I probably enjoyed them more than Seb did. I'm not going
It,
to say
it
this game's hilarious,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I enjoy them.
I wouldn't say that's a con for me. It didn't bother me in any way. So it's probably
Yeah,
like neutral for me. Like
sure.
I'm indifferent about it.
I feel like the story, which we haven't really talked about, is a fun caper. There's interesting and engrossing twists. I had a good time trying to guess where things went to the end, and I always felt like I wanted to see what happened next.
Yeah, I agree. I think the story is solid and has a lot of good performances from the cast, which we'll probably talk about, like especially with Troy Baker and everything like that. But
Yeah,
the story is good. It's generic. It's not like, oh my god, I'm blown away. I'm so.
yeah,
But it was definitely. I had me going and I wanted to see what happened next and where everything was leading to, and I was satisfied with the story. I'm not.
yeah.
I haven't beaten the game yet, but I am like practically at the end, and I've done
Yeah, I've
all the
I've
side
seen some
content.
screenshots where Seb is. He basically is right before the final level,
Yeah,
or more or less.
yeah, and I did all the side content pretty much.
Yeah. Uh, I will say the bosses all felt distinct to each other.
Yeah,
There even a robot early game that has been already showed off in trailers and previews.
yeah.
That had three different varieties to it. I felt like even within that, they felt distinct to me.
Hmm.
Um, and fairly challenging in a couple of situations. I would especially say it's kind of sad Seb hasn't beaten the game, but the final boss had me sweating. I died a couple of times, but then I beat him. But I beat him very, very, very narrowly.
Mm.
I don't want to say it's bullet hell, but it's very challenging compared to all the other bosses.
Mm.
So Seb's going to have a kind of a con later on about difficulty, and I have a kind of a little teasing note about have fun with that final boss because I think that's a bit of a difficulty jump.
We'll
They
see.
do give you some checkpoints though. They do give you some checkpoints, so
Yeah,
it could be worse. But I do feel like that final boss, at least personally, made me sweat. Maybe Seb's going to be like, get good,
yeah,
and he's going to go
yeah.
ultra instinct on me. I don't know.
I'm Seb, so we'll see.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. I agree with you. The bosses are really cool. I love how unique they are and how different they are. Every boss fight feels different. Cool designs. Like there's a boss fight where you fight a magician. You have to jump on the right card. There's a boss fight where like you fight this mad scientist like in a submarine. You have to shoot all the
Yeah,
the pillars and so whatever they were, and then
yeah, yeah.
things like that. You fight a ghost and you have to like
That one and the submarine both took me like a minute to figure out. I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do?
yeah, yeah.
Because they were like bullets won't work, but then they did work once a different thing happened. So I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, what the hell?
So like it
Yeah.
mixed it up and it was really cool. The
Yeah.
boss fights were a highlight in this game for sure.
I also want to talk about the voice work, especially Troy Baker. I'm really impressed that Fumi Games got Troy Baker for their first, because this is literally their first game.
Yeah.
They've done play. I mean, they're the publisher has published other games, but this is Fumi Games' first game,
Yeah.
which I think has to be applauded on that level alone. This is very well
Yeah.
polished, and yeah, Troy just has so much fun as him. He's really good. Honestly, sometimes I forgot it was Troy Baker. He just brings himself into that world.
Yeah.
Wasn't he Booker DeWitt too? So honestly, this is kind of going back to his roots, right? Because he
Yeah.
was Booker DeWitt in BioShock Infinite, wasn't he?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
Also, he played Indiana Jones, and I was getting the Indiana Jones vibes, especially when he's fighting Nazis. I was like, oh, it's Indiana,
Yeah, yeah.
it's Indiana Jones again.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
basically mouse Nazis in this game. We'll talk about it later.
yeah. um.
Oh, and I want to talk
Yeah.
about the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Is really good. I love the big band jazz. I love jazz, so that's another reason why I love this game. I love the soundtrack. It was really fun. I'm not saying that like I don't think there's like standout tracks. I'm not saying it's a soundtrack of the year, but whenever I was in combat, whenever I was out of combat, I was bumping and grooving, like I was having a good time. I want to shout out the Devarnisher, which is like kind of like an acid weapon that you can shoot at.
Yeah.
You get it very early on, so I don't feel like this is a major spoiler. And I
Yeah.
think it's been shown off too. But you can shoot it at enemies and it melts them. And you get limited ammo, but it's very powerful. And I used it on some of the bosses, especially to great effect.
Yes, and I love the animations of how enemies die. I like some
Yeah,
of them
yeah.
melt.
They turn into bones.
They
It's
turn to
awesome.
bones, or like when they die, like they don't even like die. They're still blinking and stuff like that. Or like especially when
Yep.
you burn them or explode, shoot a barrel, and make them it explodes and it burns them and all that. Like they're just like pile of ashes with eyes. And it's really funny.
Yep. It's super good.
Or when you actually shoot them with like regular bullets, the way they die is dramatic and it's really cool. The side content is pretty good. I think the side stories are all good and they intertwine and things like that. I actually love the main hub area, where I like the town. It's a cozy little town, right? And then you can talk to a merchant. You can upgrade your gear. You go to the bar, do side content, get some coins. You get a laser gun in the fridge. Did you do that, Dory? Did you get the laser gun?
I did not do that because I think that involves the baseball game.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's a baseball game, which is really fun, actually. It reminded me of Gwen.
We should specify, by the way, it's a card game. So
A baseball
not
card
just
game.
playing
Yeah, it's a
baseball,
baseball card game. It's like who has the higher points. It's kind of basically like the Gwent in The Witcher, or like that card game in the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Sure.
It's really fun to play. It wasn't like groundbreaking or anything like that, but it was like side content, and I enjoyed all the side content in this game. I actually enjoyed the map. You get to drive in your car and drive to a town and stuff like that. And the side.
Oh yeah, I forgot to put that in the cons. I felt like the driving was a little touchy and finicky.
I'll talk about that with the controls, but the concept itself was cool. I enjoyed the animation of it, but
I like the concept of it, but just in practice, I was like, I just feel like I'd rather just go to the next level instead of driving around, but. Because you can only go to one or two places anyway.
Yeah. So
I would have rather have just been a cutscene or something, or just a visual instead of interactable.
That's fair. That's fair. I like having a button that tells you where to go.
Yes.
Because
this is also in Pragmata, which we talked about last week.
Yeah, because this is a problem with some games or many games. Is like I don't know where you want me to go, and I get frustrated and I get lost. And the level design of the game is pretty linear for the most part, but like there's some times where like if I didn't have this option, I would have been walking around endlessly. So I appreciate them adding this to this game, and I hope they do that in more games. Honestly, because I hate wasting 20 minutes just walking around the same room because it's hard to tell where you want me to go.
Yeah.
So
Pragmata does it. I always think about Dead Space when I have this because the laser that comes out of Isaac's hand. So I always kind of call this like the Dead Space gimmick, even though I'm sure some game before Dead Space did it.
Sure.
But it's really cool. I really appreciate it, especially as someone directionally challenged. Yeah. Last couple of pros that I'll say. There are cool surprises, really inventive levels later on. Seb kind of touched on that a little bit, but there's some stuff also that he didn't touch on, which I won't. Plus some really cool sciencey weird weapons that you get that I thought were cool.
There's some really cool references and really cool levels that I can't talk about because it would be spoilers, but they're really like, oh my god, that's awesome. So that was awesome. That was a really great part of the games as well.
And then lastly, obviously Seb can't talk about this, but I felt like the ending was a great resolution. I loved how all three individual cases eventually overlapped and kind of spilled into each other. So yeah,
Yeah, so let's get into the cons. Now, uh, the cons are gonna make me sound like I hate this game, which I don't. I actually think this game's quite good. But I do understand people's negative views on this game, and there was times where I felt this way as well. But I still think this game is good. We'll start with the platforming, which is something we both agree on. It can be finicky at times. I had this issue with the wall running. Um, there's times where they want me to wall run and he just wouldn't run on the wall correctly. There's also times where they want me to double jump across a large chasm and it looks like I'm not going to make it and they somehow barely make it. It just seems like they probably should have made the platforming a little closer than it did. I was like, how do you want me to jump this gap? Oh, I can do it, but it was like barely. And I just the
yeah,
platforming just doesn't work super well at first person shooters. It just doesn't. A lot of shooters have added things like that, and only a few games have actually managed to be amazing with it. And like Titanfall 2, for example.
sure.
But this game, I'm not gonna say it's a major con. Platforming for the most part, this game is fine. But there were some sections that were a little like annoying. I wouldn't say like frustrating. It was like maybe a minute of correcting my platforming. So sometimes the gliding was a little finicky too. When I'm going up the air, it wouldn't register correctly. Also, I was playing on a mouse and keyboard, and making it the control key was kind of hard for me to hold it at the same
Yeah,
time.
I played a controller,
Yeah, so that was a little
so
that
fuck
made it a little
that.
more difficult.
I'm pretty sure I played on controller. I might have, maybe I did it on. I actually don't remember. Anyway, um, yeah, and I want to point out too. I mean, Seb is somewhat critical of this game, and I have problems with it too. I will say for the record, and this doesn't mean that they're right. I'm not like appealing to majority or whatever, but I will say that out of 8,000 plus reviews, 95% of them are positive on Steam. It also has an 81 on Metacritic, so most people are positive on it critically and otherwise. But obviously, there are some criticisms of it. I'm not saying it's perfect. It's definitely not. But I'll get on to my first con, besides the platforming, which I agree with what Seb just said completely. One of my biggest cons was, why is there no fucking rifle? Why do I have to rely on a goddamn pistol and a Tommy gun to fire at enemies from very far away who have perfect aim, always hit me, even though I'm moving? I take unnecessary hits. Those fucking riflemen killed me, I swear, must have been 3 or 5 times or something like that. It was very annoying because, and I have to shoot at my fucking pistol or my Tommy gun. And I'm like, how am I supposed to hit them consistently? So I just used my pistol and I went for headshots, but it was tough because sometimes they were kind of far away. And then like I don't want to waste a rocket launcher on one enemy. You know what I mean? That doesn't seem smart. So I didn't want to do that. And there was even one point where late game you're going up to like a rooftop area. I think you know what I'm talking about when you're tracking down one of your friends, a magician, and he talks about how his friend like used a rifle or something or left a light rifle behind him. I was like, oh great, I'm finally getting a rifle. But then the game just doesn't give you a
Mm,
rifle, even though they totally could have had like like in Resident Evil 9 where Leon has to shoot those enemies from afar before they overwhelm him
yeah,
or Grace or whatever. So that was frustrating to me.
yeah.
Um, anything you want to say about that before I move on?
The rifle didn't really bother me personally. I
Mm,
had a problem with some of the guns for sure. I mean, I guess we can talk about
sure,
that now because we're talking about gameplay and the guns.
sure.
So some of the weapons in this game are really cool. Like a lot of the weapons in the game are really coolly designed, but some of them generally just suck. Like I just don't like using them, and they barely give you ammo for some of them anyway. So it's just kind of like, what's the point? They should just hit harder than they do, and they just don't. I ended up using the Tommy gun most of the time, and the Tommy
Yeah, I love
gun
the Tommy
was
gun.
great.
I use the Tommy gun, the devarnisher, the rocket launcher. I know you said that the shotgun sucked, but I had a good time
Oh,
with
I
it.
hated
I
it.
mean, I do agree that it should be killing in one shot, not two.
Yeah.
Because I think even when you get up close, right, it still takes 2 shots instead of one.
Yes.
But I can't remember.
And even
Yeah.
and there was like the other shotgun that was like fire shotgun or something. I forgot the name of
Yes,
it.
it was the double barrel. It was the super shotgun,
It
basically.
wasn't hitting like I should have for me.
Yeah, it didn't hit much harder. I tried it a few times. It's very cool looking, and the effects are awesome.
Yeah.
but underneath, I just didn't feel super impressed with it.
With that said, most of the weapons were good and they were coolly animated and they were fun. So this is not a major con for me, but
Sure.
there was some guns that were like cool. They look cool, but they just were pretty useless for me. So
Yeah. I'll talk about the plot. I liked it, but I gotta be real. I kind of got lost in the sauce by the end of the game, and I'm kind of
mm,
like, did that make any sense? Like, I have no idea. It felt like a fever dream.
yeah,
This isn't really a con. This could have just been me not paying enough attention. But sometimes when the culprit was revealed, I either felt like, oh, that was super obvious, or oh, there was no hints that that was the
mm,
culprit.
yeah,
But other times it could have just been me not super paying attention because honestly, I got lost in this game between the music, the voice acting, the writing. Like I just kind of
yeah,
stopped caring a lot, a little bit about not a lot, but a little bit about who was at fault and who was actually the real bad guy. Honestly, let's talk about the real bad guy. Kind of. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything. But basically there are multiple bad guys throughout the game, and one of them is this big mouse party, the BMP, and they're basically Nazis,
yeah,
and fuck Nazis, but the game is kind of undercooked when it comes to this part of the game.
yeah,
They're trying to tell you like the big mouse party are bad, but they don't do a lot to do that, right? Like, I
yeah,
mean, obviously Nazis are bad, but like I just felt like the plot and the writing didn't back it up enough.
yeah,
They just kind of they were in the background for a lot of the game, and then like in the middle slash late, like they kind of came out of nowhere, and they're like, "Hey, we're one of the main bad guys," and you're like, "Okay, I guess."
yeah.
So I don't know. That just felt kind of out of nowhere for me. But fuck Nazis, and I'm glad they did it. But yeah, it was
Yeah,
just weird done.
I agree with that. The story is, like I said, generic. But it's solid. It's fine. It's just
Yeah,
there's some parts of this game, like you said, like the story that were like, what?
yeah,
I'm not really sure.
yeah. One of the reveals at the late game about the Hollywood section, I was like, huh?
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
they were behind it the whole time, but why did they send me off on? And there was no explanation, and I don't know, it was weird. I didn't really care for the contrary to Seb. I think this is one of the few things that like he liked and I didn't. I just didn't really care for the collectibles. I mean, they were cool, but they're just these little Jack Pepper figurines. They don't give you anything.
Mm,
And I just most of the side missions seemed like collectathons or like collectibles or whatever, and just didn't. The only thing I ever got for doing any of them was just money, and you get so much money in this game that
mm-hmm.
that was actually another con of mine. It's a really minor con, but like you get so much money in this game that, and I just spent it on newspapers and comics, and by the
Mm-hmm.
time you're done reloading your ammo, doing the comics and the newspapers, I mean, I know you bought cards too, so maybe this is different experience for you. I never bought cards. I didn't care about the side game. But I had a lot of money, so I don't know.
Yeah,
It just felt like, and the upgrade system was tough because sometimes you would. Oh, the lockpicking game. I forgot to talk about that. That's actually good. I meant to put that in the pros. It's very intuitive. I only failed it once or twice and couldn't go back into a safe, so I didn't have a huge problem with it.
mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, you get a lot of money is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm more of a completionist than you, so
Yeah.
I like collecting things. And it wasn't like amazing or anything, but it was
No,
pretty
no.
good. It was fun. This game is like a. If you're on PlayStation, game seems like a pretty easy platinum.
Sure.
I'll probably get all the achievements on Steam for this game.
Um,
I've got most of the achievements already.
yeah.
So I
Well,
enjoyed
hey,
it.
I sure hope you do because you can't go back once you beat it. This is
Yeah,
another one
that's
of
my con
Seb
too.
and I shared con. You cannot, and I'm not even a completionist, but I just think this is a bad game design. You can't do any level select after you beat the game, which I don't even care. I don't want 100%, but like, why can't you go back and play your favorite
Hmm.
levels? Like, why can't you just do a
Yeah.
kind of like deja vu mechanic
Yes.
or something? I don't think there's a new game plus or a harder mode once you beat it either. I'm not
Hmm.
positive on that, so don't quote me on it, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure there's no new game plus or
I
harder
don't
mode.
think so either, but I haven't really gone into it, and I wouldn't replay this game again anyway on a higher difficulty,
Right.
so I wouldn't be looking for
I
it.
wouldn't I wouldn't either, right? But there's
Yeah.
there's not a as Seb will talk about, there's no replay value.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I'll let Seb take away some cons. A lot of these cons that he's going to get into, I'm going to kind of disagree with.
Hmm.
But yeah, anyway, go into it, Seb.
Well, let me add on to the replayability one. Like,
Sure.
yeah, it's definitely a con for me. Like, this game is really a one-time play game, and then you never play it again, kind of thing. Like it's because once you've seen the levels the first time, you probably like, oh, okay, whatever. I've already done this, so it. I think what's really cool about this game is like this is first time experience. It's like, oh my god, I didn't expect this boss to be this cool. I didn't expect this. I guess if you play it again, it's not going to hit the same. But even then, you should have the level select. I think that's important. And if you miss anything, you have to reload your save. And the good thing about this game is obviously you can save a typewriter, so you can always go back. But like then you have to find the save. I just don't like that kind of game design. I had this problem with Replaced. I beat Replaced, and I had this problem with Replaced. I missed one collectible, and I had to replay the whole game for this one collectible. Screw that. I ain't doing that.
No.
So
Yeah.
I don't like that kind of gameplay. That gameplay design. All right. So this is where Dory and I disagree mainly on this game. Now I'm not like, oh my god, the gameplay is atrocious. Like, oh my god, it's horrendous. Don't play this. No, I just think this game is really repetitive, and there's times where like I feel like I'm just doing the same thing over and over and over and over. It's literally just follow a linear path. You go in a room, you get locked in, fight a bunch of enemies, continue on, fight a bunch of enemies, lockpick a door, lockpick a door, lockpick a door, and you fight the same four enemies the entire game. Like, yeah, they have different designs at some parts, but for the most part, you fight this big fat one. You fight the guys that fly in the air with a helicopter. You fight the cult guys, who are basically just the same people but wearing robes, and that's the whole game. Like pretty much, like for all the boss fights that are awesome, you fight the same 3-4 enemies this entire game, and I think there's I'm not saying I was bored, but I was like, yeah, I'm just doing the same thing over and over and over again. And there was times where I was like, is this game a little too long for what I'm getting? It's a boomer shooter, so there was times where I'm not gonna say bored, but I was like, I feel like I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. And the gameplay is like not bad or anything, but it's very simple. It's very I'm trying to use the word shallow, but it's like it's just very bare bones. I played much better shooters that feel like you just do more with it. This is a very casual shooter, and that's for the good and the bad. Um, and that's where I'm at with this game. It's like the gameplay is not a letdown. It's just not amazing for me. It's just simple and repetitive, and the whole game is just that, simple and
Yeah.
repetitive. So that's why this game is not a 9 out of 10. Like, oh my god, everybody needs to go play this game. It's more of like an 8, 7.5. Like it's a good to great game. It's just these things just frustrated me.
Yeah.
Where I was getting
For me,
yeah.
personally, I don't see the. For me, I never got that sensation of, oh, I feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over again. I did start feeling towards the last few levels. I'm like, okay, feel like we can wrap this up. So I sympathize with you on the whole. Maybe this game's a little too long
Yeah.
for what it's trying to do.
Hmm.
I completely agree that it's more of a casual shooter, and there's not a ton of depth to the gameplay. For me,
Yeah.
the atmosphere, the aesthetic, the voice acting, the writing, and stuff are so strong
Yeah.
that I can forgive somewhat simplistic gameplay.
Yep.
And for me, also, I always felt like I was getting a new weapon. Now, like you said, not all weapons are created equal in this game, so
Yeah.
some of them were a letdown. Like the Jarhead, and there's another one called the Hellraiser. I felt like both those were kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I was very happy with the weapon loadout and felt like just as I was getting tired of one weapon, I would switch it out to another one or I would
Yeah.
use a different one. So I personally didn't feel like I was doing the same level in and out and the same combat. I do understand though what you're saying with the versatility of the enemies, because I did notice as I went through the game and saw some of the same enemies but colored differently. You know, it's corrupt cops instead of mafia members, or it's Hollywood slickers instead
Yeah.
of mafia people, but it's all the same enemy type, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like for the first half of the game, it's a good amount of enemy variety, but then you start getting in later levels and you
Mhm.
realize, okay, they're not doing anything except adding to the enemies. They're giving you more enemies, but they're not giving you more different enemies,
Yeah.
right? So I totally see that part.
I had like in the beginning, I was like, it didn't bother me. The gameplay was like, oh, the gameplay is fun and all that, and and then as the game went on, I was like, okay, it's getting repetitive. but the beginning, the funny thing is the setting. I was thinking like, okay, is this game just nothing but like abandoned warehouses and sewers and linear hallways? And then the setting turned into really good variety, right? And then I had the opposite effect with the enemies, where I was like, oh, it was cool in the beginning. I was like, oh yeah, I'm having a good time with this, and then later on, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting repetitive. It's getting
Yeah,
repetitive with the enemies.
yeah,
So, so really, what I'm saying is the presentation really holds this game. Like it really fixes a lot, like hides a lot of the problems, right? Like I said early in my pros, the environments of this game, if you really look at the environments of this game, are very simple, 3D indie spaces. Like they're not incredible levels by any means. If this game was in color, you would see it. Like it would not look as good as it does. I think the black and white was a great idea on their part, hiding the simple of the 3D spaces, and the animation itself is incredible. It really hides the issues I have with the gameplay. That's what keeps it from being like a 6 out of 10 or 7 out of 10. Well, I don't want to 6. 6 is very low for me. I think that's too low for this game. I think that's what keeps it from being a 7 out of 10 for me. Is that I think the presentation is so strong that I can forgive a lot of the issues I have with the gameplay. So that's why I guess I find I'm like a 7.8. So I'm like an 8 out of 10 for this game, right? Like that's I think the presentation is so strong. I think I would. I do think I'm grading this with a curve a little bit though, because if this game was like $70, I could not recommend it to people because of the
yeah,
gameplay issues. But because it's like $30 or whatever it is, I think it's thirty
yeah.
dollars.
$30, 29.99.
I think it's a very fair price for this game, and I think it's like
Yeah, that's another pro I would give this game. It's a very fair price, very good for
yeah,
what you get out of it.
yeah,
I have about I want to say I have about 10 hours in it or something like that.
yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
have
it says 11.9 hours, but like we always say, don't trust the Steam count. It's probably more like 10 hours.
yeah. I have
But yeah,
16
I
hours.
felt like it was good.
Yeah, I have 16
Yeah,
hours
and
of it.
that's because Seb did a lot of the side stuff, which so that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Which I think is I think this game is what 10 to 15 hours. So
Yeah,
that sounds right. And it's like 15 to 20 hours for completionists, so that sounds right as well. I think this game's a little long, especially as you mentioned at the end. There's a couple of things they could have like cut out a little bit, or just made it a
yeah,
little
I
more
agree.
stream, but not a major, not a con. I would really say so. For me, it's the gameplay that's hurts the game for me more than Dory. But for the most part, we agree on a lot of the pros and stuff like that, so,
Yeah,
and a lot of the cons.
I
So
I am a I don't know. Some of Seb's cons made me. I'm still a 9. I don't think I'm a strong 9. I think I'm a weak 9 on this. If somebody gave this an 8, I would totally understand it. I think the IGN review, for example, they gave it a 6. Now I didn't look through the whole review, so maybe there's some fair points in there. I think giving the 6 is atrocious.
I
I just don't think you can justify that personally.
and I
I
yeah,
obviously everyone is entitled to their opinion, right? So
yeah,
when I say atrocious, I mean subjectively. I think that's just
yeah,
unreasonable.
yeah,
But because I
yeah,
think based on presentation alone, this at least deserves a 7.
hmm
But I think it deserves from me a weak 9. I don't think it's a strong 9 anymore because I think Seb did raise some important strong points that I hadn't considered. So yeah, I mean, I think Pragmata is a little better than this for
mm,
me personally, just because I connected with those characters so strongly, mostly Diana, and the gameplay is better, which of course, as we always say here, this really should just be our fucking motto: gameplay is king, right? So,
hmm
but it's still in my top 5 for sure. I'm much
yeah,
higher on this than Seb is, and I think the reasons why are pretty clear at this point.
yeah. This is one of those games. Ironically, as much as I say gameplay is king, that sometimes presentation can save the gameplay, and I can just enjoy
Yeah,
the game because the presentation is so good. I think this is one of those games. It's one of those exceptions. But like I said, for me, it's like a 7.5 through an 8. I think let's say a Starfield 8, or I don't know. Maybe it isn't. It's just an 8, a solid 8. Because I enjoyed it so much that that like for the most part I wasn't thinking like, oh yeah, I hate this gameplay.
sure.
So I'll say an 8 is fair for me. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a Starfield 8 to me, but at the same time, I think it's funny because in one of your parentheses it said 7.8, and I really wanted to put it in my own
too
parentheses
much
like
water,
7.8,
too
too
much
much
mice,
cheese,
too much cheese. Oh yeah,
too many mice, yeah, too many mice, too much cheese.
yeah.
But yeah, this is a great game. Either way, between both of our reviews, I think they even out to basically what the average is, which is like an 8,
In the
an 8
eights,
out of
yeah.
10. I think
yeah,
I think an 8 is totally fair. I'm very high on noir stuff. I love that aesthetic and shit. So I'm very, and I love jazz. I love the animation. So
yeah,
yeah, I think it's a great game. If for $30, you can't go wrong. I
exactly.
at least play this once. If you're a completionist, do it with a guide for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even sure you can go back to levels you complete.
No.
Like once you complete them. Yeah, so be really careful on this one.
Yep. The price tag really matters for this game for sure. Like if it's $70, I
Yes,
would have been a little bit more harsher for sure. It would be like a 7 out of 10 or something. But because it's $30, you're getting a great package here, and for the most
yeah.
part, you're gonna have a great time. I feel like I think the average audience is gonna love this game. Like if you're like somebody on Reddit that looks at every game very strongly and analytically, you'll be like, oh, I don't like this. But I think this game's gonna be very appealing for a lot of people. Um, it just grabs people's attention, right? Because the art style is so unique. I hope they make another one. I There's things you can improve on this game, and the next game could be amazing, like incredible,
I
incredible.
honestly think if they just make that gameplay a little deeper, the AI a bit tougher,
Yeah,
and give you better weapons,
yeah,
with more versatile enemies. I mean, I know that sounds like a lot. You have an easy 10 out of 10 for me,
yeah. You
honestly.
get
I
the
mean,
foundation.
or at least a strong 9.
Yeah, you got the foundation now. If they can make that Doom Eternal jump, it doesn't have to be like Doom Eternal good. Obviously, that's like
Right.
Bethesda. But if you get like just make that jump, we have like a monster indie game on our hands. So it's a
Yeah.
great foundation. This is a great first start, right? This is their first game, I believe, right?
I know, it's amazing this is their first game. I posted on Blue Sky, I said, if you told me this was a veteran studio that's already tried their hands at a couple of games before, I mean, maybe it does have veteran devs, I
Yeah,
don't know. But as far as we know, this is their first game ever, and this is an incredible start. So
yeah,
this is, I think, undoubtedly the best thing to come out of Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie being like copyright being removed, because like I don't know, it took a while for us to get there, but we
yeah.
finally got something good out of
I
it.
know.
'Cause I didn't really
Yeah.
like the cheese game, the what, I don't remember what the
Oh
hell,
yeah,
the
yeah. I know you're
horror
talking about.
game.
I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so boring, and I stopped after about
It's like
half an
Big
hour or
Cheese or
45
something.
minutes.
Or something like
Yeah,
that.
Big Cheese, I think. Very cool animations, but it
Yeah.
had nothing gameplay
And
wise.
hopefully the devs had a great time making this, and they weren't like being crunched into drawing everything. Like
Yeah.
there was one section in this game where like you're in a room where all these people are forced to draw, and I'm like, is this like a meta commentary on themselves or something like that? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember that. I was like, I took I think I took a screenshot. I'm like, this is a bit on the nose.
Yeah, it's like, are you guys trying to? Is this a cry for
Yeah.
help?
Is this the cry for help? Yeah. Okay. Blink twice if you guys need help. Twiddle your nose a
Yeah,
couple of times if you need us.
yeah. All right, so that's concludes our episode. Mouse PI. We both enjoyed it, and we'll see what I don't think we're going to be able to record next week because I'm going to be busy. But in a couple weeks, we'll talk about mixtape in full detail,
Yeah.
and that'll be our main game. And then after that, there's a bunch of games we're going to be talking about. So there's going to be May is going to be a very impression heavy month, and
Yeah.
and then next month is going to be very news heavy, obviously in June. So we look forward to that, and we'll see you guys then. You guys all have a good night. Thank you, Dory.
I'm gonna up my nerd card next weekend. I'm finally going to a Renaissance fair, which I don't think I've gone to since I was a child, so I don't even count it. But yeah, I'm upping my nerd card. So while Seb's busy, I'm gonna be a nerd. I'm gonna go to a Renaissance fair, and then hopefully after that, I'm gonna play D&D. So I just couldn't be any nerdier. I'm waiting for somebody to stuff me in a locker as soon as this podcast goes off air. Seb probably will.
I got you.
So yeah, so I'm excited for that. It honestly works out that we're not recording next week because I would have been absolutely toasted after both those things.
Yeah,
So.
I'm going on a trip for school, so I'll be
Nice.
too exhausted to do a podcast probably. Because I'm getting home at like 5 in the morning.
Oof. Yeah. Okay. That'll do it.
Yeah. All right. Take care, everybody, and see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye, everybody.